our elders, even in Robben Island, the black prisoners, they were wearing shorts until 18 years in Robben Island. For Mandela, they were wearing shorts. The coloreds, the Indian and the white, they were wearing long pants. And they were calling them boy. And our fathers who were working in their garden were called garden boy. Our mothers were called kitchen girl. Because the logic of coloniality was that we are the children. We are the burden of the white man. The white man is burdened with the responsibility of civilizing us so that they bring us to their level. We don't drag them down with the rest of the civilization.
Welcome back on the channel. I'm your host Nati, and today we have Thau Haramanuba. If you are new in the channel, don't forget to subscribe.
Remember that when the missionaries came here to colonize us, which is a manifestation that was taking place in three different ways, that they're going to Christianize us, they're going to civilize us, they're going to commercialize. To Christianize is basically to change us from our African spirituality. And then to civilize us, just a euphemism for they're coming to Europeanize us. They're going to make us poor imitations of the Europeans, or the poor imitation of the white man, or Afropeans or Negropeans and all of that, right? And then the commercialize, and it speaks to commercial colonialism and how our infrastructure, the way it is set up, all national roads, you know that N1, Mwefelantinki, the port of Cape Town. So these were roads designed for looting. N3, Ifela Durban port. All this N, they go somewhere to the port of entry where the loot from the interior was taking place. And this is basically the reason why they initially called for the Berlin Conference, which was also called the Congo Conference. They were fighting for that Congo River gateway, like the passage of looting outside of the continent, that they must not have that. And then interest developed. That's why it took 3 months, 15 days. And then it later developed to a scramble for Africa, that listen, this cake is too big, let's share it among ourselves. And the biggest winner then was Leopold, who was just given Congo as his personal property. So the same structure of Christianization, civilization, and commercialization is still very much in Africa. Nothing has changed. And we all, those of us like myself, yourself, and our kindred spirits who are Pan-Africanist and continental, subscribers of continental consciousness, we know very much that we are at the age of neo-colonialism. So basically, colonialism has just morphed and taken another shape.
When you talk about the demonization of Isintu and the Christianization, so what you're saying is that because people who look like us and present in this world like us were called dirty and shunned upon.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was a deliberate attack.
Yes, it was a deliberate attack. And with their system, because you see, the West has always given us two contradictory concepts, like Christianity and communism, or Christianity and atheism, communism and capitalism. Even when they came among us, they started to have that people like us are amakaba, and then people like them are amakoboka. Laba bakoboka ku culture yabo. So which was beginning the whole stratification to create a class of converted Africans in the French colonies, in the Anglophone, Francophone Africa. They call them the evolvee. These Africans who have evolved outside of their culture to Western culture. But the logic of colonialism is that it was based on infantilizing us, that we are infants. And that is why our elders, even in Robben Island, the black prisoners, they were wearing shorts until 18 years in Robben Island. Mandela, they were wearing shorts. The coloureds, the Indian and the white, they were wearing long pants. And they were calling them boy. And our fathers who were working in their garden were called garden boy. Our mothers were called kitchen girl. Because the logic of coloniality was that we are the children. We are the burden of the white man. The white man is burdened with the responsibility of civilizing us so that they bring us to their level. We don't drag them down with the rest of the civilization as the civilization is progressing. So we need to be civilized. So therefore we are children. So it was based on infantilizing us. That is why our African stories in Tsomi, they are called children's stories. Our oral tradition, most of our verbal expressions, our poetry, our storytelling, our songs, at one time they were seen, even most Christianized Africans and educated Africans, they still carry the same mindset that this stuff, once you start to talk about the stories of Nongauze, you know, you are talking about way backward stuff now. But these people are subscribing to a book that talk about stuff that happened 6,000 years ago. And some of them, they never happened. But those are 6,000 years old mythologies where our people are taking other people's mythology and making their own theology. So the process of infantilizing us, it was also driven by the logic of coloniality, which is basically saying we are epistemologically and ontologically inferior, meaning we are incapable of producing knowledge. We are incapable of comprehending knowledge. We are cognitively challenged. We have a cognitive challenge of comprehending some abstract concepts. Even education, when it was first introduced to us, modern education as we know it today was introduced by the missionaries. Even how it was introduced, you know, you were educated to just be a clerk, to do this and to do that, you know. Certain things you are not allowed to study, like science and so forth, because it was assumed that you are cognitively incapable. So the likes of Levi-Broll, Hume, Kant, these white people who went on, passed on as philosophers, one of them, Levi-Broll, you say, we are a pre-logical people, that we lived before logic.
Yes.
So whatever we say does not logically make sense. So therefore we are infants. We have to be grown up. Europe will tell when are we ready to, when are we grown up, when are we ripe for civilization, when are we ripe, when are we good Christians or good educated black men. But also is because white supremacy racism, which is central to all of this, central to colonialism, central to slavery, central to the genocide, wars of resistance, the 100 years Xhosa frontier wars that the Xhosa had to fight about 100 years, a period of 100 years, 10 fights basically. And one of them was to weaken the Xhosa nation through the trick that Sir George Grey played on Nongauze. And then now also this thing was premised on the idea that they are here to make us in their own image and likeness. And they know what is good for us, like a parent who know what is good for a child. So we are children, we don't know nothing, we are their burden, so they have to civilize, colonize, Christianize, and commercialize us. And now some of our African brothers and sisters who are also in these woke spaces and so forth, they take offense when you say, if you worship the God of the enemy of your ancestors, you are your ancestors' enemy. It's like that. Because we are here to continue, we're the continuation of our ancestors. So we have to continue the belief system, the cultural system of our ancestors. And most of them, they proudly will be saying, "Ngihamba nabantu abadala," but they're telling us of ancestors who converted to Christianity the other day, because Christianity is not even 200
Welcome
years
back on the
us.
channel. I'm your host.
But we've been
Nati,
here for
and today we
thousands
have
and thousands
Thau,
and billions of
Haramanuba,
years. I mean,
sitting
you go
with
to
our
Nzalwe Langa
Pan-African
there, you
sister.
get those stone in Nzalwe Langa,
Sitting with our
which the white man called the
Pan-Africanist
Adam's
sister.
calendar, which is
Tiki
dated
Mazwai.
between 300,000 years to 200,000 years.
If you are new in the channel,
Who
don't
made them
forget to
there? You go to
subscribe.
the
Let's
Bakoni
go.
ruins. That goes to 150,000 years, you know. Who made them there? Was Abantu, you know. And Labantu, bebaphila isintu, because it requires isintu to have ubuntu, and it requires ubuntu to have umuntu. So today we hear our academics, our scholars, our clergy, our activists, they're telling us of Ubuntu. We even have a white man, Broderick. They say he's the first white man to have a PhD in Ubuntu. I thought our grandmothers are the ones with the PhD of Ubuntu, those who never went to school. The grannies, those basemakaya, amakaba. Those are the ones with the PhD with Ubuntu, because Ubuntu is not a lectural discourse. You can't have a PhD in Ubuntu. You can't attain it from the university. So now they have nonsensified it. There's this nonsensification of African stuff and the falsification of the African consciousness. They just say, this man has got a PhD in Ubuntu and is the first person in South Africa to have a PhD in Ubuntu, and a white man for that matter. And then isintu sithi, isintu sakwantu, isintu sithi, isintu asitolokwa. How did he tolokwa that sintu to translate it to?
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you on the next one. Let's go.